Ciao everyone! We are off to San Miniato in Tuscany today, and we're going to be speaking with probably my favorite person on Instagram, that is Emiko Davies. Emiko is an Australian who's lived in Italy for the last 15 years or so. She's called Florence home, and now she lives in the beautiful Tuscan town, San Miniato. I'll just wait for a few more people to join as I add Emiko in. I can see Emiko's joined. Amazing. One moment. I'm just inviting Amiko, bear with me. Okay, invite sent. So it's a little bit different to the other lives that I've done. So we're going to be in Amiko's butcher shop, which is amazing. It's the best butcher shop. And we're going to be talking about the Truffle Festival. Okay, just make sure Amiko can go in. We're live with Amiko.
Hi!
Yay, look, we can see the Truffle Festival. Oh, it's amazing.
There's a little bit of a parade, so I'll just
Yeah, let's watch. Oh my God, it's incredible. I love how they dress up.
I know, I think any excuse to get dressed up, right?
Amazing.
So I'm out the front of my butcher shop. Not my butcher, my friend, Andrea Falaschi. And this is his family. Here he is.
You're just cutting out a little bit, Amiko. I think the Wi-Fi.
Okay, there we are.
There we are. Hey,
Ciao. How are you?
So Andrea's letting me use his shop as a base because I don't have good reception otherwise.
Thank you. Grazie mille.
Pretty much the first place I would come for the they make
it comes back. The Wi-Fi.
they make the best truffled sausages, which I'm going to show you in a second. And I'm going to go inside because I think the Wi-Fi is a little bit better.
Yeah, that would be great. Perfect.
Vengo dentro perché no, non si capisce.
Oh, look, beautiful. Amazing. And we go to Amiko's butcher shop. I've been here and it is incredible.
Please.
These are the truffle sausages.
Yeah, they're amazing. Look how little they are. They're like small,
So
and they've got pieces of truffle in them.
delicious.
And then some of the other specialties that they have here. Can you hear me with the mask on?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Some of the other specialties that they do here, you'll find over at like salame, the prosciutto. There's also this amazing little paste that they call spuma di gota, and it's like a cream made with pork cheese, and it's amazing. And then I live and they have all these other beautiful things. This is like a questo es
Potatoes with truffle.
With truffle. Yeah.
it's a formaggio, so it's like a little like almost like a flan, almost like it's got eggs and bechamel and mashed potatoes and then truffles mixed through it.
Oh my God, it all sounds amazing.
And then here we go.
Oh, here we go. This is what we're here for. The
I wish you could smell this.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine. Oh, heavenly.
Wow, that's so nice.
That is a beautiful truffle.
So, Andrea, you sell these as well to people who want them, or these are just for you?
Yeah, it's a sale. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a start to now the good season.
Yes.
Because it's changed the weather, it's changed the season, and start now because just a little more to humidity and just a little more to rain. Very important truffle.
Wow. So normally the truffle season would have started earlier, I guess, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's been really, really dry. Very, very dry. So up until now, there haven't been a lot of truffles. It's been, not a great start, but it's like sprinkled a little bit, so there's a bit more humidity around.
Oh, okay. Let's
Yeah.
see if I can make amazing.
Shall I show you the view out the back so you can also see? Hold on, I'll just show you also from here. I think from the window here you can see a little bit more San Miniato. So
Amazing.
you just look behind me.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, so it only opened, 20 minutes ago, and already it's very, very busy.
It looked it.
Yeah. There's going to be like an official like cutting of the ribbon. I don't know if you can see more from here.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. But the other reason I love this butcher shop is because they have a restaurant out the back where you can, taste the truffle sausages, you can taste tagliolini al tartufo, you can, have a nice little lunch there. And they have the best view in town. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to go slowly because the Wi-Fi goes a bit funny as I'm changing rooms.
Right.
Bear with me.
Let's try. Yeah, that view
Posto qua.
Vengo di là, scusate. I'm going to flip you around. So I'm going to flip. There we go.
Oh, beautiful. This is the restaurant section, right, Emiko?
This is the restaurant, but this used to be the laboratory where they used to, make the salami and make the prosciutto. They would hang them on these hooks here.
Yep.
Right.
Excellent.
And here they still keep the prosciutto.
Delicious.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah.
San Miniato prosciutto. Oh, look, I'll show you this.
Super cute.
That was an event we did.
Oh, was it? Yeah, the Wi-Fi is getting a little bit funny out here, Emiko. Let's see if we can make it to the view. Cross our fingers, otherwise we'll have to look at those photos. Ciao, everyone, for joining. We're just going through for a walk through Emiko's butcher shop. The Wi-Fi.
Un pastella così. Okay, wait, I'm going to taste one of these.
Ooh, that. Ooh, what is it, Emiko?
It's pastella's like batter.
Yeah,
quindi
pastella Lina, dacci una
this is-
descrizione di pastella.
Sorry, I'm going to introduce, this is Lena here. This is Andrea's mama.
Io di coniglio faccio. Ciao, faccio la pastella d'acqua
Sì,
e poi ci metto i pezzi di coniglio e li fritto.
sì.
Quella che avanza ci faccio le fritte.
Okay, amazing. So I'll just explain for those who didn't understand. Lena makes really good coniglio fritto, which is fried rabbit, and I love coming here for that actually. And the pastella, so the mixture, which is just flour and water that is, excess in the bowl. She fries them and makes these fritters with them.
Oh, let's all imagine that we're there trying some of that as well because it looks incredible.
It's really good. No.
Yeah, good. You've done the hard work for us. Taste testing, excellent. Oh,
I'll show you the view. This is the other reason I like to come here.
That would be great. Yeah, the view looks.
While I finish eating this pastella.
Oh my God, look at that. Isn't it? It's a beautiful day in San Miniato as well. The blue skies. No rain. Oh, heavenly. The Wi-Fi is a little bit funny, but yeah, here we go. We're back. Oh,
So
it is amazing.
yeah, sorry, it's because when I come out the terrace, it switches one. So I've got a Wi-Fi problem in town. But
It's all right.
it was supposed to rain today, but look at this. I mean,
Perfect. They couldn't have got a better first day of the Truffle Festival, could they?
no, exactly.
Oh, amazing. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh.
So, Emiko, did you want to quickly introduce San Miniato, a little bit more about the town for people who don't know it? Now that we're in a sort of, the Wi-Fi looks okay now at the moment. I'll let you finish the delicious.
I know, sorry. So we moved to San Miniato in in February after buying our first home and renovating it, which was quite interesting because we did that over the second lockdown. And we've decided to move here from Florence because this was the place where Marco, my husband, was born. So, you know, he knew it really well. We both knew it really well. We've always loved coming here to eat. There's lots of great restaurants here. I have to say that was one of the big draw cards. I mean, it's a small town, but lots of great restaurants, a really great slow food butcher in town, a great bakery with like their own sourdough, ancient grain bread. I mean, it had like everything within walking distance, plus like, you know, the views. And we're only like a 40-minute drive to Florence, 30-minute drive to Pisa Airport. Like, it's really, really convenient. So Marco still works in Florence, so he just commutes back and forth, which is quite a bit of driving at the end of the day, but it's doable.
Yeah, it's doable, exactly.
Yeah, we really love it. So I've been encouraging people to come and visit and come and see me here and, you know, experience some of San Miniato, because it is a little bit off the, you know, the main sort of beaten track, which is unusual, I think, because it has so much to offer, especially for anybody interested in food and wine. There's a lot of great stories in the area. And I think that it's just maybe because of its proximity to Florence, it sort of gets bypassed. And its proximity to Pisa. We're also only 40 minutes from, like 45 minutes from Siena, from Lucca, so you know, all these towns that people come to Tuscany to visit. And I think San Miniato just isn't on the map because it doesn't have like, I don't know, really big monuments, that sort of thing. Yeah. But it does have white truffles. So for me, the white truffle is almost as big a draw card as a really beautiful museum or a really beautiful monument. So, you know, November is the time to be here. Yeah. Even though white truffles can be harvested from mid-September until the end of December, there's actually like a legal calendar when truffle hunters can actually catch, what would you call it? Gather the truffles. So white truffles have their season from the 10th of September to the 31st of December. So if you're eating a white truffle in January, it's not a real truffle. So that's a tip, because from January till March in the spring, there's another truffle which is white-ish, but it's not the white truffle. It's called bianchetto. And so because of the name, bianco means white and bianchetto, sometimes I see this truffle translated on menus as white truffle. It's not really. It's like the poor third cousin of white truffle. It's more abundant, so it's cheaper. It's usually smaller. It's not as prized. It doesn't have as great a perfume. And I mean, white truffles have a price point that match their sort of prestige and how special and rare they are. So at the moment, as we mentioned at the beginning, it hasn't been a very good year for, well, let's say start to the season. Hopefully some rain will come, but it hasn't been a very good start to the season because it's been very, 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 very dry in Tuscany. And the price was going around like €4,000 a kilo for truffles. Wow. And I've seen them go as low as 2,500 for like the really sort of weird knobbly ones that, you know, take a lot to clean and you know, don't have that perfectly like, you know, beautiful round shape when you shave them. Yeah. To give you an idea, I bought one on my way.
Amazing.
Although Andrea had them, I could have just got one from Andrea. But
any excuse for, you know, take some truffles with them.
I'm planning on making tagliolini al tartufo tonight for some friends who are visiting. So this will come in handy. So this tiny little nugget here. This cost about €25.
Oh, okay. And that's fine for 4 people or so?
It's really more for 2. We're 3. I'm going to stretch it with some truffle butter and some truffle salt.
Yeah.
And that's probably my favorite way to have white truffle. You really don't want to actually cook this. Cooking it will destroy the smell, which is what you're paying for. So what you want to do is just grate it over something.
Yeah.
Usually, but sometimes you'll find this on like tartare. But you want to grate it over the top of a dish and just enjoy it like completely raw. And just, you just want to smell it is really what you're doing. You're not actually eating it. It's more the perfume.
Right.
So this was about 7 grams. I would usually go like 5 grams ahead. But as I said, I'm going to stretch this one. It's a little bit light. Makes me think that this was from maybe a few days ago. Right. I remember I came past this truffle shop here about a week ago, and they didn't have any white truffles at all, and they were very worried about the white truffles coming up, and how are we going to find enough white truffles? So, generally speaking, these they lose weight as the days go on. They have a lifespan, let's say fridge span, of about 5 to 7 days.
Okay.
And they lose a bit of moisture as each day goes by, and therefore they lose weight as well, and they lose aroma. So you want to use them as soon as possible.
Okay. And how do you clean them, Emiko? For anyone who's
I'm trying to get there it is. So cleaning them, you just get a little brush, like a nail brush, a toothbrush, something like that, a little brush. I have a special truffle brush just for them. And you just want to sort of scrub off the dirt that you can see all around it. Yeah. So white truffles also should be sold dirty. You don't want them clean because some of that dirt is actually helping protect and like sort of seal in the aroma. So you want to wash it only when you're like just about to use it, and that way you will have sort of the best aroma possible. I usually get a little toothpick for these funny little. There are a few little crevices here that I don't know if you can see. A few little crevices that the brush might not reach. I'll just get a little toothpick in there, but and then you kind of wipe it with a damp cloth. If it's a little bit dusty, it's a bit like cleaning a mushroom, really. Yeah. And actually, these are a lot like you want to treat them a bit like a mushroom. When you find an old dried up mushroom at the back of your fridge. I'm sure I'm not the only person. Truffles are a bit like that. So the longer you leave them, they lose that moisture, just like a mushroom would. Yeah. So, and then the other thing you want to do if you do want to buy a truffle or you're looking at them is you want to touch them, and it should be really firm. It's like a little. I mean, imagine hunting for these. It looks like a rock. I mean, yeah, it's a very perfumed rock. But you do want to touch them and sort of give it a little squeeze, and it should be firm like a rock. It should feel like a very light little rock. Yeah. If they're squishy at all, like a mushroom, then it's no good. It's just it's past its prime, and you shouldn't buy it. So if you are buying them, you should be able to ask the sellers to, if you can have a touch, if you can have a smell. Yeah. Because obviously you want it to smell good. They all smell a little bit different. Some are a little bit more potent than others. Yeah. They all have different ages too, and you don't really know until you pull it out of the ground. But they could be at different stages of being ripe, just like any fruit or vegetable, really. So when you do get one and you want to choose one, just ask to touch it and smell it. And it should, those are my.
And Nicolette just asked a really great question. How do you actually store the truffle if you're not going to eat it like that day?
That's a really, really good question. So there are two main ways that I would suggest doing it. You can either wrap it up in some absorbent kitchen paper, and put it in a glass jar, because if you have it just in the fridge like that, it is going to make everything in your fridge smell like truffles. And the glass jar will somewhat keep that smell contained. And then the other thing you want to do, the other thing you could do is put it in a little jar of rice. And the rice does the same thing as the paper, where it's going to absorb any excess moisture. At the end, you have some like truffle flavored rice that you could probably put into a risotto or something.
That's a great
But with the paper, you want to change it like every day, so that you've got like a new piece of paper in there, so that every day. But like I said, I would totally try my best to use it sooner rather than later. And I know some people have stored them with their eggs. Like, again, in a glass jar. So if you have like a big glass jar, put the eggs in it, put the truffle in there, and you'll have like truffle scented eggs.
I love that. That's amazing. Which leads me to another question, like what would you pair truffles with? So obviously there's the pasta that we talked about.
Pasta's really classic. Anything buttery. So even like mixed with butter and like spread that on toast is really nice. But also buttery eggs, so scrambled eggs or fried eggs, I think are really, next to pasta, it's the best way to taste them is with eggs. Like the richness of the yolk is a really good carrier for the flavour and the aroma of the truffle. And you also don't want any flavours that are too overpowering. Egg is like the perfect accompaniment, and pasta is the other nice way to enjoy them. You could get also, I mean, you could get more creative with black truffles, because you can cook with, and they do very well when you cook with them. So if you're a creative chef or a cook and you want to play around with truffles, get a black truffle rather than a white truffle, and then you could put it in roast chicken. You can cook actual dishes with it, and I think black truffle works really well with desserts as well, which sounds kind of unusual, but goes really well with dark chocolate, goes really well with milky or sort of creamy desserts, like you could make a panna cotta or something like that. Lunch and truffle fries, that's really good. Actually, truffles go really well with potatoes too, so roast potatoes or mashed potatoes like they've done here at the butcher shop.
Amazing. That was another question that someone asked, the actual difference between, besides the colour obviously, but between black and white truffles, because obviously white truffles have got a much higher price point.
So they have also a different season. I mean, there's different kinds, there's different varieties of truffle and different varieties of black truffle. So you've got a summer black truffle, which also you can get here in San Miniato. It grows in these hills over here. And that's available basically between like January, February. You can get the black truffle in the winter, and then that's like similar to French black truffle, I think we call it in English, French black truffle. And then you get the summer black truffle, and that's available from like June until October. So it sort of crosses over with this period now. And those are cheaper because they're more of them and easier to find, and they grow sort of in many places. As opposed to the white truffle, which is harder to find, only grows in like really certain microclimates like San Miniato. And then flavor-wise, black truffle is really different. It's much more mushroomy, much more earthy. Someone asked me recently to describe the flavor. It's really more the aroma of white truffle, and it's really hard to describe. Right?
Really.
Anyway, I had one recently that was actually, it had kind of garlicky notes to it. It's not quite like garlic, but there's something sort of, even a spiciness, like garlic, and it's really hard to describe. It's kind of like nothing like it. Whereas black truffle, I feel, is very similar to like a mushroomy sort of flavor.
Yeah, agree. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, delicious. I think everyone just needs to go to San Miniato and try the white truffles for themselves. You're right, it's hard to describe.
Yeah.
The aroma. Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. And can you tell us a little bit about what happens at this truffle festival in San Miniato?
Yeah, so if you could see in the distance when I was showing sort of outside, there are tents and food stalls set up in all of the main streets, in all of the main piazzas. And there's not only truffle things, there's all kinds of things actually. You can get olives, you can get things from southern Italy, you get things from Sicily. I saw some like botarga stall on the way here, an olive stall. And then there are other things like there's people making beer flavored with truffle. You can get crepes with Nutella flavored with truffle. Like there's truffle sort of everything. There's a dedicated truffle tent as well. So if you are like seriously, we want to find like the best white truffle, and you want to, or you're just curious, go to the truffle tent, and that's where you have all of the San Miniato truffle sellers and truffle hunters. A lot of them have been doing this for generations in their family, and they'll have like sort of a tray of them under a cloche, and they let you open them up and they'll weigh them according to how much you want. There will be black truffles as well as white truffles. So all the sort of seasonal truffles available at the moment, you can find both of them.
Yeah.
And then there's a tent of local winemakers, and so what you do there is you grab a glass. I think you pay. I have to go and check actually. It might be like €5, and in the past years it was like €5 for the glass, and then you go around and you taste all the wines for all the local wineries. And that tent is next door to the truffle tent, so basically there you can just smell the truffles everywhere, and do a wine tasting. And then throughout the stalls, there's just every piazza is full of other food stalls. You can get chocolate, you can get cakes, conforte, soffrestata. There's one stall that's particularly I would say colourful. Like they get got already like Christmas decorations out and everything, but they do gorgonzola, truffle flavoured gorgonzola. They've got truffle mortadella, truffle sopressata, truffle sausages, all these things. I mean, I would come here to Pulaski for the best truffle sausages. And those sausages, this is something that often shocks people, but in Tuscany, you often eat sausages raw.
Yeah.
And the ones that they make here have no, additives or preservatives in them. They're very, very fresh. They're amazing. These are the ones that I would eat raw, and you just sort of open up the sausage and spread it onto warm crostini, so like toasted bread, and it's very, very good.
Heaven.
Yes, yeah. So it's basically like a food. I don't know. The whole town just turns into a massive sort of food festival, and if you like truffles, you can sort of get anything with truffles on them.
It sounds amazing. And the other thing that's really nice is that it's a free event. It's not cheap.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can pop in, come visit. Because there's no parking spaces left, because we've used, the town's covered in food stalls, people have to leave their car at the bottom of the hill, and then there's a shuttle bus that will take people up and down. So if you do come by car, then you can park in a big parking lot near the supermarket, near the PAM supermarket, and then you get the navetta, it's called, the little shuttle bus. And that's pretty easy. Otherwise, you come in a taxi and they can drop you off near the top of town.
That's convenient.
Also, yes.
Amazing. And I wanted to ask you as well, while we're talking truffles, about a truffle hunt, because a lot of people admitted love to go on a truffle hunt, and so I thought maybe you could talk a little bit about what actually happens on a truffle hunt and how you find it.
Yeah, the truffle hunt. Somebody had mentioned the film The Truffle Hunters, I saw
Yes,
that.
I saw that comment. I haven't seen it. I need to write it down so I can watch it.
Yeah, you should see it because it's based in Piemonte, so you will, it's close to your home.
Yeah.
And that is, I haven't seen the film yet either. I've watched the trailer like 5 times. It looks really beautiful. And I do quite a lot of truffle hunts here in San Miniato, and we go with the truffle hunter and his dog. Sometimes there are 2 dogs, but usually we're with the puppy that's in training. So he's not always that efficient, but he's been getting better this year. It's really fun. It's really fun to watch the relationship between the truffle hunter and the dog. And I think that for me anyway is what makes the truffle hunt so fun to watch. And even though I do lots of them, I've done lots of them, I always learn something every truffle hunt because it's always different. It's like you're following this dog, and sometimes he's just off and he's running around because he's young. This one, he's only about a year and a half, and he's got a little way to go. Usually, when they're about 3 years old, is when they're proper. So, but then when you'll see him when he gets focused and he's got his nose to the ground, he's searching the forest floor, and you just sort of follow him until he finds something. He starts digging, and the truffle hunter usually has to stop him because they can damage the truffles with their claws. Sometimes they want to eat them as well, so they will. Yeah, you got to beat them to it. So really, it's about watching and so following the dog and then watching the truffle hunter how they teach the dog with every dig, and I'm going to move over here. and then how the dog actually can find it. That's the other thing that you'll learn during a truffle hunt. We've done a couple where we found some duds, and it was still interesting because what the dog had picked up on was like a rotten truffle, So he dug it up, and it was tiny and shriveled, like that old mushroom in the back of the fridge, a little small nugget, and it wasn't at all usable or edible. You would just, it was rotten, but they let us smell them, and you could still smell a really strong scent to them. So the dog can still pick up that scent to the truffle.
Wow.
The other really interesting thing to watch is, white truffles and black truffles don't grow in the same area. They grow with different trees. Where a white truffle is growing, a black truffle won't grow, and vice versa. So when we're in a particular part of the forest, it's usually for that variety of truffle that we're looking for, so like the white truffle, for example. And then white truffles grow quite deep underground. They can go like 30 centimeters underground. So the dog is digging for quite a while. Black truffles. What's the sad move? No. They're moving things around. Because they're getting the tables ready for lunch.
Perfect. Yeah.
And then the black truffles grow usually just on the surface of the soil, so they don't have to dig as far, and it's usually, so you have to be quicker to get to them when they're digging for black truffles.
Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Either way, I think it's a really fun experience, and I'm constantly amazed by the fact that this little nugget here, 4,000 euro a kilo, that we humans are incapable of finding these ourselves, that we still rely on an animal to smell them out for us. And that we also can't farm these. White truffles cannot be farmed. Black truffles, yes. And even then, even if you farm black truffles, you still need a dog to find them because you won't be able to get them yourself. It's amazing. That still always is mind-boggling for me.
Yeah, that is really amazing. Wow. Wow. I wanted to say as well about San Miniato, because I had a few questions also from some of my followers about San Miniato and some interesting ones just about, I guess, living in a small Tuscan town and what that's like. Do you need to speak Italian if you are living there or visiting there? Also, like Amazon deliveries, can you get you know,
That was funny when you messaged me that question. Yeah, we get everything here. I mean, it's a small town, but we are, you know, very close to the capital of Tuscany. So Florence is just down the road, and a lot of people live here and work in Florence or in Pisa, and it's just down the road, literally, you know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes away. So it's not that it doesn't feel isolated at all. I mean, we've got this, you know, beautiful countryside. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. It feels like you're in the countryside, but you're very close to the city. I mean, when you think about it, like, I think of it as a city like Melbourne, for example. In Sydney, you travel 40 minutes and you're still like, you can travel an hour, you're still in the same city. Do you know what I mean? And so San Miniato is, you know, it's not the same as like living in in Melbourne, but the distance-wise, it does sort of feel to me like you're in, you know, you haven't gone that far away to get to Florence, you know, for some shopping or for lunch or something like that. And yeah, so living, but on the other hand, living here, I feel is a much more real experience than living in Florence, which is, I find, increasingly less livable. As a mum with two little girls in particular, it's not easy to live in Florence. And Florence, I love going into Florence to have, you know, lunch with my friends or things like that. But we were looking to live in a place where, you know, you go down the street, people know you, everybody knows you, go to your shops, like the butcher shop, and you know, you get treated like a friend. You know, it's not just like living in Disneyland, which unfortunately Florence has become a lot more like that in the last few years. So that's something I really love about living in San Miniato. It's it's real. Everything here is for people who live here. It's not touristy at all. No. And yeah, you can walk around, say hi to everyone that you know. It's just I really like that. Feels like a big neighborhood.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And if you don't speak Italian, do you think that, you know, you can still get around quite easily? I mean, obviously living is one thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think that a lot of people speak some English. Yeah. And you know, Italians are good body language communicators. You know, I feel like with you know, all the head gestures and things that you get understood, you can be understood. And I also think that it's actually a really good opportunity to learn Italian if you live in a place like San Miniato where you're not always with other English speakers or listening, you know, relying just on English. Here, you do have to make a bit more of an effort, and I do think it would be easier to learn Italian when you're in that environment. In Florence, it's harder and harder to learn Italian if you are with other foreigners or people who walk to the shop and you try and speak Italian and they instantly reply in English, you know. Yeah. That happens so much. I hear people say that all the time. They're trying to use their Italian and the people just reply in English. Yeah. So I do think that's you know, if someone is looking to learn Italian and sort of immerse themselves, then more sort of that benefit.
Yeah, amazing. No, I love San Miniato and I visited Amicos, so I totally agree with what you're saying. And one more question that I had was, if you didn't live in Tuscany, which we know you love Tuscany and it's amazing, but if you didn't, which other region in Italy would you be curious to try?
It is hard, but I sort of have always wanted to live in Venice.
I knew you would say that. Yeah, I thought. Amazing.
What brought me to Florence was fine art and art history, and I was studying art restoration, and I did spend a couple of months in Venice doing an internship. I was restoring artworks on the island of San Miniato, which is an Armenian monastery. It's amazing. It's a tiny little island, but they have a little museum there. And it's 15 minutes on the Vaporetto from Piazza San Marco, and it was an amazing experience. And I, so I had a little taste of living in Venice during that internship, and I was like, I could totally do this. So we went last year. Marco actually had a job interview in Venice, and I was sort of crossing my fingers. But I don't know. I just thought that living in Venice, I know it's got its challenges.
Yeah.
A lot of them, and I know I've just said that thing about Florence being unlivable but I find Venice quite different to Florence in that there's a touristy area, and then over here there's like all these great neighborhoods, and it's very, very easy to get off the beaten path in Venice. So easy. Whereas in Florence, you can't do that anymore. So I do love Venice for that, and I do think, I don't know, the market and the lagoon, and I just think Venice would be an amazing place to live.
I agree. Good answer. Yeah. Amazing. And Emiko, unless there's any more questions, do you offer truffle tours? Do you offer tours in San Miniato at the moment if people are interested in coming to visit you?
Yeah, I do. So I do private truffle hunts and cooking classes with the truffles, which are really fun. We go to like a private property, so it's just us. All you see is woods around us, and it's really beautiful. We go with Luca, the truffle hunter, and his dog Futo, who is like, he calls him more a couch dog rather than a truffle dog, but he's very charming. People love him because he's a hugger. Some of these dogs that just like hugs you. It's fun. That's a really nice day out. And then the other thing I do is a food tour of San Miniato.
Yeah.
And I usually try and do that on a market day so that we can go. There's a very, very small market, but it's cute. And once a week there's the regular market, and then once a month there is also a slow food market, which is also very small but very, very nice. Do some of the local things, and and have a little taste of some of the great things that are on offer in San Miniato.
And there's so many from what we've heard today. I can't wait to get them, I think.
Yeah, you need to come back because it's since you came with me here, when was it, 2019? Things have changed. There are some new things, lots of really new exciting things in San Miniato, and come back and visit.
Definitely, Emiko. I would love to. Thank you so much for the live, for telling us all about San Miniato and the truffles. And I'm really hungry now. It's almost lunchtime, and I'm in the mood for truffles, I think, after all of that. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.
I'll save this as well, so anyone who missed it can go back and watch it.
Thanks a lot, Liz.
Ciao.
Bye.
You too. Bye. Oh, one love you. Amazing. Ciao, Nico. Ciao, everyone. Bye.
Bye.